Hello, welcome to the latest Wind and the Willows review. So this week it's winter haunts. No snow here yet, but there is snow up in Scotland, so maybe it's going to get here for when we get to the more snowy episodes that are coming up. But yeah, winter haunts, I love this one. It's quite an unusual one in that it's very, I would call it a quiet episode. We've only got our four main characters, and it all takes place in Toad Hall, so they don't go anywhere else apart from the very end. And it's a spooky one. So let's get into it. Winter haunts. Here we go. So I'm gonna press play now. So this was the episode that closed off series 3, directed by Chris Taylor. And at that point, Chris, he was kind of sort of beginning to let go of the series a little bit, and you had Francis Foes, who kind of took over his role in series 4. And I first saw this one again on the Masquerade video. I of course reviewed Fancy Dress last week, which was also on that video. And I remember it was the middle one on that video, and I like it. It's so. What I love about this one is the coziness of Toad Hall. I think Toad Hall was, in my opinion, has never felt cosier in any other episode, and that's largely due to the fact that this is the weather. You know, very extreme winter weather. Interesting. Look at the title there. Not really a valid point, but notice how it had inverted commas. I don't know why. I'm probably the only one who's ever noticed this, but no other episode has inverted commas in the title. Isn't that weird? And I thought there was a reason behind that, as though a ghost is saying it. It's like a quote, winter haunts. That's my philosophy behind it, my reasoning. But I assume it's just a coincidence, mistake, or whatever. So as we can see, very thick snow. And see an abandoned set there, Badger's house. And look at that, isn't that lovely? Snowman of Toad outside, or a Toad. Lovely effect of snow there. And straight away we've got coziness with those lovely thick curtains that we don't see often in Toad Hall curtains. And like I say, it feels cosy because we've got that extreme weather, the curtains are drawn. You could argue it wouldn't be as cosy as maybe one of the other characters' houses, but I think you see the fire sort of glowing behind them there. And it's still pretty bright lighting, but you just feel I don't know, it's just lovely, and you've got the coziness, the warmth of the four friends together as well. Toad's got his wonderful smoking jacket on there. Reminds me of the All-Time Entertainment that I viewed quite recently. I think he even had the same scarf or cravat thing there as well. So another interesting aspect of this episode is that we learn more about Toad's ancestors. And Toad refers to Samuel Roger Toad, which he also refers to in another episode. I'm trying to think which one it is now. Samuel Roger Toad. I think it's in... Oh, it might be in Patient Toad, one I reviewed quite recently. When he's looking at paintings and things and thinking he's dying. Nice bit of comedy here. Made his money out of candles. They do say that one of his father's candles. Made his money out of candles. Probably good business to be made in candles. Now this is very pompous of Toad, really. So the way he says trade.
No, of course. It's just that I couldn't bring myself to be dealing with money all day.
So Toad's kind of like shot himself in the foot there, and basically saying, "Oh, you can't be bothered to work." Basically, that's what it sounds like he's saying. So a little touch on class there, which of course Wind of the Willows is very much about, really, underneath it all. Now this is interesting. Ratty's it's kind of echoing back to Wayfarer's All here. He's talking about seafaring rats, almost suggesting that that seafaring rat from Wayfarer's All was a distant relative of Ratty's. You almost get the sense that he's getting hypnotised again.
He was more my kind
So I'm certain sure that's influenced by or inspired by Wayfarers. Lovely wide shot there. We don't often see that angle. Such a wide range.
Sir Henry Whittingham, absolute fizzer with the salt name.
We've got some nice typical stuff, Toad stuff going on here. You know, just the kind of slapstick pantomime. Well, that hit doesn't quite work in the animation. We needed more anticipation for that hit to work, but it's okay. Too critical.
One of my ancestors is supposed to have killed a king. What's that, Mole?
This is interesting what Mole talks about here.
People who live in glass houses, Toad.
And this is just an episode where they're basically just having conversations to pass the time, and I like that. You could argue, God, there's not a lot going on here, but this is really what The Wind in the Willows is largely about. It's just about 4 characters and they talk to each other. And it lasted 5 series.
I say, it's a wonder his ghost doesn't come back.
Now, Ratty said the key word there, ghost. And of course, the title alludes to a ghost with winter haunts. And this is another echo to an older episode as well, The Ghost at Mole End, the very first one I reviewed back in March last year. So, Ratty mentioning ghosts, it's reminded Mole of the fact that he thought Mole End was haunted once. And I like this because people who are watching this for the first time, when it was first shown, might have remembered The Ghost at Mole End from Series 1. Of course, that was a few years previously. And here we have clips from that episode, bringing back memories, isn't it? In black and white, of course. I love the echo as well, the kind of, what's it called? Echo effect on the voices. Nice way to kind of like not have to animate a certain portion of the episode. Common practice, but I do like that we can go back to an older episode. Just gives you the sense that this is a series. There is some continuity, even if it does go out the window sometimes. I love the dense black in that shot. Something about the way that's lit. Very vivid around, like Toad's very vivid against it. Nice to see the cheeks drop there. We don't often see that in this particular Toad puppet. As I've said before, the other type of Toad puppet that Paul Berry would have animated was a bit more expressive. You could get more of the cheeks, but we actually saw very definite movement, a downwards movement of the cheek bones there, the cheek joints. I love the fluttering fingers there as well. That's an unusual angle as well. The fact that we're quite low down, almost level with Toad, and he's gone into the shadows there.
Oh, nothing. No, I dare say you're right after all.
Oh no, Toad, I'm sure you
Nice detail there of the characters, their heads following Toad, tracking him as he's walking. That just started it, Mole continued it there.
Quite tired. It's still quite early, Toad. Is it
I
really?
don't think Toad does a particularly good job of trying to cover up the fact that he's got some idea here, some plan, the fact that he goes straight into saying, oh, he's quite tired. But he doesn't fool them.
That's a good idea. I never thought of that.
I mean, he does fool them. What am I saying?
Then if you'll excuse me, I
He
will
fools them
retire.
completely, although Badger does start getting suspicious in a moment.
As long as you like. And help yourself to supper.
Thank you, Toad.
Good night then. Good night.
Nice, lovely animation of Toad going up the stairs there. Beautifully controlled.
What do you mean, Badger? What's that? Whenever you say like that.
Very rare that Ratty does an impression of Badger there.
I was merely thinking that Toad's
There's a
exhausted.
painting there in the archive, pops up quite often.
Do you mean you don't think he's
I wonder
tired?
where that table is now. Large table. Huge that table would have been.
Why should he pretend to be tired?
Yeah, there you have it. Perhaps I'm wrong. Well, now, goes for a game of whist.
Oh, good idea, man. Yes, I'd like to play.
Lovely. So they're going to play a game of cards while Toad gets up to something. Now the music already suggests spookiness, and it's actually
No such
another nod back to the Ghost at Mole End, the instrumental version of Toad's ghost song, Ghouls and Ghosts. And I think the only other time we hear an instrumental of that is in Toad Astronomer. But correct me if I'm wrong, if anyone can think of another one, but I think that's the only other one.
I shall be clap fast asleep under the bedclothes.
And to be fair, he does do a good job of getting his bed looking like he's in there. Propping it up with pillows.
Now,
And this Toad ghost costume that he makes is still in the archive as well. Recognise it as soon as I saw it. And that's beautifully done there. It's actually hard to animate a character with a sheet over it like that, so I assume they would have had some wire in there and it would have been anchored to the puppet. But it's very, very well done. Very seamless, you know, you don't see that it's anchored in any way. It really looks like it's just draped over it.
I'll make a couple of holes.
A little bit solid the way it moved then. You know, it is tricky to get it to look natural. Because when you want to animate it, it needs to be fairly thick as well. You don't want a very thin material. You have to have quite a bit of wire in it for that to work, which would thicken it anyway. I love how you just see the door open in that wide shot and then you cut to the close-up.
Playing their silly old cards.
Carries the cup. Your attention is just drawn upstairs. It's lovely. And isn't that a great costume? Just to have the eyes. It is quite freaky actually. And the chain around his neck. So that again is an unusual angle as well. We don't often see that side of the hall. You know, being that wide, that far away.
Just a hand or two, eh, Mole?
I'll see if Toad would like a cup of something. He may not be asleep.
Most thoughtful, Rat, most thoughtful. Your deal, Mole, I think.
Coming upstairs. Oh no. I thought so. I know. Quick.
So Toad's now changing his plans. I love the way this is shot. It's always really kind of creepiness to it, with just shots of legs going up the stairs and Toad hiding. So as an audience, we're kind of on edge with Toad. It's like, ooh, we don't want them to see him, not yet. We wonder where's he going to go. What is his plan? Now, to be fair, anyone would be fooled by this. I think it's not too far fetched for me.
No.
I think the fact that Rassie's looking in there, he totally looks like Toad's in bed and asleep. Love this very nice subtle dissolve. So only another half an hour's passed.
Well,
10:30.
time for bed.
Me too. I'll take the mugs back to
It's weird. 10:30 is usually the sort of time I'm thinking, oh, let's
We'll
get to
make
bed.
quite
But
sure the place is
never
locked
sleep
up
before
tight
midnight.
while you do
Very
your
rarely.
You see to the front bedroom and I'll lock up the back.
Yes, yes.
And the only thing with this dialogue is it feels a bit like they are reading a script. You know, not to undermine how fantastic the talent is, but
Yes, do, Mole. Don't want anyone creeping in through there from the secret tunnel.
Right.
don't know. Yeah, something to do with the script, isn't it? But it just feels a bit. You know, obviously to the front, you look up the back, and just very authoritative, very. But they got to bed pretty quickly as well. The lights were out very quickly, and they're upstairs. You see they go to the bathroom, do they? A bathroom is one thing we never see in the Wind in the Road. Maybe they don't wash. Maybe brush their teeth. I don't know. Now that's quite spooky, isn't it? We see Toad Hall, but no one there. Got like a moonlight effect on it. And Toad, of course, has locked himself out. Reminds me a little bit of Auld Lang Syne.
I'm locked out. Hello?
I like the way he said that. I'm locked out. Come and help me. And now the idea of being a ghost has kind of gone out the window, because his number one priority now is actually just getting back into his home. So it is creepy, and the other one really being freaked out is Toad. Well, that's the audience a little bit. Now again, this lighting is pretty impressive because we've got to see him, obviously, but at the same time we want to see the shadows. In those wide shots, the eyes just look like holes, don't they? It's dark enough for them to just look like two big, large, gaping holes in the sheet. But then the light just catches the surface of the eyes, and it's just got that lovely shiny look. Now the sets used for these bits, I'm sure they've been used before. It might be some, along here, like the secret tunnel that would have been used in the film, one or two other episodes. But this set, I don't know what this is. It might be used later on for the prison in the chief's return, possibly. Don't know. Does anyone else recognise that? Lovely set. I mean, look at the detail and all that brickwork. Beautifully lit as well again. So it stopped snowing at least. But you can actually feel the cold, can't you? Just the way it all looks and the way Toad's shivering. Now that's impressive, that animation, because you've got to animate his walk going along at the same time. On every frame you've got to think about an up or down movement, and if you don't keep that up then down as you go, the shiver won't come across. It's got to be a constant vibration. I love shots like this where you've got a character holding a lantern. That wire would have been going through Mole's dressing gown there. Now that dressing gown, I remember seeing it on a puppet of Mole when I worked at Cosgrove Hall, and it was in a box, and he was wearing this costume, so I assume it would have been like that in an exhibition after the series, because obviously this isn't at the end of the whole series. But I was lucky enough to animate him. Would you believe? In my last sort of weeks at Cosgrove Hall, they allowed me to animate one or two old puppets, and they let me animate Mole, even though he wasn't in fantastic shape. But he could be animated, and I'll try and dig out that clip. If I've dug it out, you're watching it now. If you're not watching it now, I haven't found it. So poor Mole's freaked out now. I would be, to be fair. That was a scary shot of Toad sort of shivering. He's no idea it's Toad, and it genuinely is a ghost. And if anyone's going to believe it, let's face it, it's going to be Mole. We all know the story of the ghost of Mole End. And I never would believe that Ratty or Badger would, believe they've seen a ghost, even if it's staring at them in the face. I love that. Toad scaring himself. And then he fades. So they're all holding lanterns. Really nice touch. So Ratty kind of knew it all along. I do believe Lantern Badger's holding might be the one that Toad uses on his desk in his library study. He might be wrong. Look at the prop there, the wine. Oh, what do you call it? I guess it is a bottle, isn't it? But is it brandy or something? Brandy bottle. Beautifully done. So now we get into this final scene, obviously the following morning. I don't know if they've been up. I doubt they haven't been up all night. I don't know. It's weird, isn't it? Because we assume all that happened in 10:30 they went to bed, and then that probably lasted till midnight or so. Freaked them out at midnight or 1 in the morning or something, but now it's morning. So I don't know. Maybe they all did go to bed, and now Toad's kind of recovered. So they want to get home before the... And Ratty says it's getting dark already, so it's a whole day has passed pretty much. So I often wonder what happened in all that time. That's an unusual angle as well. Some interesting experimental angles in this episode actually, which I kind of forgot about. And that's an unusual one, going away from the hall. We don't quite know which direction they've gone, but again, one day I'm going to work out kind of the geography of everything as much as I can, but I think that's where continuity is not quite consistent. Now, this is where we've got another nod back to the Ghost of Mole End. If you remember, we had shots like this of Toad getting quite freaked out, but then it was much more darkly lit. This one is a bit more dramatic, except that the lighting isn't particularly scary. More vibration. But he's on his own in Toad. I would get a bit freaked out like this if I was him. He's on his own in that large house. There's those old paintings and sculptures of his ancestors scaring at him. Another unusual shot. Look at the framing. We've never seen a shot like that through the doorway. Beautiful. So I do love that one. It's do you know, it's one of my favourites, I must say. I've got a feeling it's not a favourite of many other people, and I can understand why. There's not a huge amount happens in it, and it's not necessarily one of the funniest, but I just love the, like I say, the coziness of it, and yeah, the fact that the Toad's costume is fantastic, and the fact that it all goes wrong and it's quite funny in that sense. It's a nice one to just watch with a nice glass of wine in the evening. Not as a child though, obviously. So there we go. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on that. It is an interesting one, a bit of an anomaly in many ways. Kind of a quiet one to end with Series 3, I guess, when you think of there's so many episodes in Series 3 that are just full of boundless energy. And, but there we go, there we have it. So next week, we'll see if the snow does arrive across England. Not many of us would want it, to be honest, but next week it is winter sports. We do get into that absolute classic. I mean, winter sports is a true classic, having been on the Winter Tales video across all those releases. So it is one of the ones I know so well. Seen it more times than many other episodes. So yeah, we'll get into that next week. And don't forget, of course, next week is the next bonus episode, the penultimate bonus episode. Yeah, it is. So do join me for that next Sunday. But yeah, wrap up warm, enjoy as much as you can the cold weather, but most of all enjoy being cosy indoors, just like with that to say. So, all the best, thanks again for all your comments, and I shall see you next week for winter sports. Cheerio then.